Hey, everybody. It's Scott Taylor with Hawke Media coming at you. Isn't that a nightmare? Can you imagine listening to that like every morning when you got up? People start diving out of windows. But I took myself, just felt right. Hope you all had a great lunch. We got some amazing, amazing pictures, and we have a winner. And somebody is going to be getting a super cool gift from our partners, Loop and Tie. Yeah, that's exactly right. You thought that there was nothing left. You thought that Loop and Tie had they weren't going to be giving away anything else. They stepped up to the plate again. They said, you know what? We love you guys. We love the people that love you. This whole e-commerce week thing we're in. So we want to be a part of this whole lunch extravaganza. So Angel, who's the winner?
Tiffany Yu.
Tiffany Yu.
Homemade burrata salad.
Homemade burrata salad. I have to tell you, I looked at that picture, scrump delicious. And anybody else that was on the channel, and there were lots of you, maybe you can get a recipe from her. It was homemade, looked fresh, looked super healthy too. When I do my side view and look at Angel, you can tell that I'm not eating burrata salad right here. This is like stacked on like, I don't even know what. And I try to eat healthy, but I can't sometimes, but I'm working at it. So this is what we got coming up, right? We have, well, first of all, hopefully you guys networked on the Omni channel. It looked like there were a bunch of people there. I know some people got a little sideways looking at food and stuff, but I think it went really well. From what I heard, it was super busy. We're going to be talking with some other, let's see, let me look at this. Oh, real quick about Omnisend. Many of you might not have heard of Omnisend, but just to let you know what they do, Omnisend is not just another marketing automation platform. Instead, they're tailor-made for e-commerce. That's us. Online retailers and D2C brands, helping nimble teams grow their sales, not their workload, with highly relevant emails and texts, push notification, messenger marketing, Facebook ads, and Google ads. Listen in now as Gabe Macaluso. I think I got that right.
Pretty close. You're good.
Macaluso?
Macaluso.
Macaluso. Dude, you see the glasses you have on?
Yeah.
They should be on me. I haven't had glasses my whole life, and now I'm in that like 50-something denial where everybody's like, hey, Dad, you know, maybe you should get glasses. And I'm like, listen, Satan, I don't need glasses. I have really good vision unless you guys keep writing things in these little miniature letters that obviously is on my screen right now. So Gabe, welcome. I hear you're the Director of Customer Success. Is that true?
That is correct. That one you got right. We're good.
He knows. I need encouragement. I'm on my own. I'm like in a desert island right now. Yeah. And luckily Matt's here to help me out. So he's going to spit some knowledge to you guys, and I'm going to punch out, and I'll be back though. I know a lot of you are really nervous that you wouldn't see me again, right? I'm only kidding. I'll let you go. Peace and love.
All right, here we go. All right, well, thank you guys so much for the opportunity to present today. I'm going to present a little chat, little conversation with you guys about stealing the season. As introduced, my name is Gabe Macaluso. I am the Director of Customer Success here at Omnisend. And basically what I did was I talked to a whole bunch of our clients, talked to our customer success managers here at Omnisend, and just kind of compiled a few questions that we get on the regular as we're getting ready to head into holiday season. And we really kind of try to focus on just making sure that everything is simplified. It can be super easy to kind of get bogged down into all the planning, figuring out what content you're going to come together, how much dynamic content are you creating, which channels are you going to be looking at. And so let's kind of just break this down and simplify it a little bit and just go through the most commonly asked questions that we hear. All right, so first question we get a lot, because contact acquisition is obviously huge. And the more contacts you have, the more email you can send, the more SMS you can send, generates more revenue. And if you have a CEO that's, all about his email list and doesn't want to get rid of anybody, no matter if they haven't bought in the last, 18 years and they haven't opened an email in the last 12, you can't unsubscribe anybody because they're subscribed to the list, their inbox is still getting emails, so we have to keep them there. But how do we get some fresh faces to those? So there's some interesting strategies and tips and tricks we can share here. So first one is, if you get people to the site, we got to capture their information. Pop-ups are one of those things, and you can kind of find the full gamut of it. And it's so funny because as protective and as happy as owners and CEOs of companies are to grow their email list, they hate pop-ups, but they're effective. So even at the low end range, a pop-up's going to capture about 3% of your unique site traffic. So when you start thinking about how that can exponentially grow your list, a pop-up is a necessity. Now, if you look at these three pop-ups, what's interesting about them is that, there's one that's offering a 10% discount code. There's one that's offering a 20% discount code. And the middle one is probably one of my favorites, because it matches the brand voice. And it's enough of a pattern interrupt that it goes, okay, you know what, I am here. I do want this information, but let's actually talk about it. But as we go left to right, the first one on the left is a great brand, men's grooming product brand. And they are definitely using the discount to capture that email address and start nurturing people through that first purchase. So that's extremely important to them. But they kind of, hit that personal note, hits the brand voice. We hate spam too. We're only going to send you one email a week. So they do a great job of setting proper expectations, giving you an incentive to sign up, and easy hurdle, right? One field, submit, move on. And then you can put additional information. We'll talk about a welcome series and onboarding series later on in the presentation. But this point is just, let's capture it. The middle one gives you a little bit more information. They've got the checkbox, so they're doing that extra step. Make sure there's no bots filling that out, making sure that they're getting only people to subscribe to their newsletter that actually want to hear from them. We know there's going to be attrition. We know people only sign up for emails to get that first purchase discount, but we spend so much money on acquisition, PPC, SEO, Facebook advertising, that if we can capture their email address and really own that contact, we can nurture them into that purchase. And then the last one I love with Nearly Natural, just because they do such a good job here, and that Omnichannel allows you to use email address or SMS as your unique identifier, and then we can match those up if we have both properties. But they do a good job of saying, hey, you know what, before you leave the site, so exit intent, before you leave the site, we want to make sure you get this 20% off. So maybe you close the entrance pop-up, and yes, exit pop-ups, again, they can be annoying, right? But we have to sometimes think about ourselves and go, the 2-3 complaints I get a week from customer service because someone hates our pop-up versus the 300 names I got added to my list this week, do I allow those complaints to outweigh the potential positive outcome of getting those new contacts on my list? So 3 really solid examples. There's a ton of them out there. Obviously, gamification, super popular. Exit intent, we talked a little bit about. Newsletter widgets, all sorts of things you can do to kind of get people in to capture that email address. The one downside of gamification is you end up just discounting. And so if you set people up to expect a discount, they're going to abandon their carts in hopes of getting a discount. They're going to wait for your email to give you a discount. So if you can avoid giving a discount, I definitely recommend it, because there should be enough value in your product, enough value in what you guys are doing as a brand, that if you can avoid the discount, try to avoid it at all costs. But these I don't hate. These are okay, because they're very specific use cases. So to continue walking through, and I click some buttons here. Here we go. So social channels. This is obviously huge. We talked a little bit about it in the Omnisend channel and in eCom LA and what they're doing there. So the nice thing about the social channels and what email SMS is doing and how you can combine these, Hammett, great brand out of LA, they make purses. This is their welcome message, or this is a message they did for their anniversary. And you can see how they start playing the social channels against email. So turn into our Facebook Live, drive traffic to your Facebook site from an email to get people interacting with you on Facebook. We know Facebook, we know Instagram, we know Twitter. They all work on algorithms. The more engagement you have, the higher the account profile. We spend so much on Facebook content, social media content. And sometimes even if you have 1 million followers, you get 30,000 likes. That's a really low percentage when you compare it to what email and SMS can do for you. So play these channels against each other. The other way I love it is kind of in reverse. So if you're going to do a big cyber weekend sale, or you've got a new product release, have exclusive channels where you're going to release this. So, post something on Facebook that says, hey, we've got a big, you can literally take this copy and just flip it. We got a big announcement coming. or we have a big sale getting ready to drop, we have new inventory out. But if you want to be the first one to know about when it hits the site live, click here to sign up for our SMS, click here to sign up for our email. And that way you play those channels against each other. Oftentimes I see a lot of brands will post the exact same content that they've done on social as they do in their email. And if I'm getting both of those things, why am I going to interact with your social channel, or why am I going to stay subscribed to your email? I only need that information from one channel. So be very careful. Sometimes it's a big deal. You need to put it everywhere. But if it's just a normal content campaign, separate those things out. Keep the voice consistent. That's extremely important. I've worked with a number of brands where the social media team doesn't even talk to the email marketing team or the SMS marketing team. And so the story becomes very disjointed. We definitely don't want to see that. So work together, make them complementary, and drive them towards each channels. Let those channels play off of each other and drive success for both of them. And then this always comes up, right? So can I purchase an email? Or this guy called me, he said, or sent me an email. It's a really good list. They've validated all of the email addresses. Sometimes people will use the term rent, which makes it sound friendlier. It's not. Or I've had the clients that go, hey, so my boss was in the warehouse and they were cleaning some stuff out and they found a binder with that. And this is a true story. We found a binder. We're thinking about hiring like a college intern to do data entry and enter these email addresses. The average lifespan of an email address is 2 years. So no, don't ever do this. I hope I put enough evers in there because it's just a bad idea. Just this week, we had a client that acquired another business, threw them into their list, sent an email, and it was about the worst thing you could do right before holiday. And just we've got massive repair to do on his reputation and making sure that he actually gets the inbox for holiday. So no matter what someone tells you, no matter what someone says, no matter what someone says, how good of a list this is, don't purchase, rent, find a list of email addresses anywhere and consider them your contacts. It will not go well. And as soon as we put ourselves in the shoe of the consumer in that sense, if someone emails me and I didn't sign up for their emails, it's going to be pretty quick for me to say, hey, this is not right. This is spam. And we wouldn't want that. Oftentimes when we tell people we're in email marketing or we're in digital marketing, we automatically get, oh, you're the spammers. And that's the reputation we absolutely want to avoid. Now, there are some creative things that you can do with this, is find a complementary brand. So this was 2 clients of ours, MirrorMate and Artist Wall. This was in the middle of COVID. Both were kind of like DIY projects, very simple projects to kind of do at home. And everyone was setting up their home office. How do I make it look great? Artist Wall is these wood planks. You just stick them on the wall. MirrorMate, again, we've all knocked off our DIY projects. So in 2 separate conversations, I was like, hey, MirrorMate, I've got this customer Artist Wall. Do you guys have interest in working together? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, Artist Wall, I've got this client MirrorMate. They're interested in working with you. Would you want to participate in some sort of joint marketing effort? And so they did. But what you can see here is MirrorMate sending an email on behalf of Artist Wall. It's still branded MirrorMate. MirrorMate did not give Artist Wall their list. They did not say, here's all our contacts. All they did was take their template, drive the links to Artist Wall. Artist Wall had a special landing page where they could capture those email addresses. And then Waddell, Artist Wall did the same thing. And you can see that over a 7-day period, they saw a 7 to 10x increase in new email addresses per day. So massive growth, but they did it well. We also see this where clients will participate in competitions or sweepstakes, right? Everyone typically signs up to win the HGTV Dream Home. I know I've done it. And part of that sign up, you get signed up for all these email programs, right? It's buried in the terms and conditions. Anytime I had a client participate in that, it's imperative when you import that contact list to let them know how you got their email address. Just a quick one-off welcome email. Hey, just want to let you know, you've joined, Gabe's Houseware Goods because you signed up for the HGTV Dream Home. And while you may not have won that, we've got an opportunity for you to save with us, right? So it's just a gentle reminder, a gentle campaign that says, here's an opportunity to opt out if you want to. It's not going to damage the reputation of my larger list. And now I can see the quality of these contacts I collected. Other thing, make sure you use an email validation tool. Clean them. Talk to your email service provider. We do this at Omnisend for our clients all the time, where we'll actually run that list through an email validation service. That does not mean it's going to get to the inbox. That does not mean that they've subscribed to your emails. What it means is this is a valid email address. If we deliver the email, it's going to go to that ISP. However that contact treats your email, it's up to them. But they definitely want to clean those. People will do typos. We see people at checkout all the time type in fake email addresses because they don't want to actually receive emails, but they have to provide that email address to get to the next step. All right. How many emails can I send? This is the next question we get all the time. And it's an interesting one because we have clients that go, I can't come up with enough content to send more than 1 email a month or 1 email a week. And why can't I send 3 emails a day? Because every time I see an email, I see increased traffic, I see more revenue. And so if I send more emails, I get more money. So here's where I like to start with this. And we kind of dabbled on it in the first question a little bit, which is how do you define an engaged audience? And so these are timeframes that we typically look at. Obviously, you have to understand your product, your SKU, what's the typical buying cycle. If Peloton is segmenting their recent purchasers and trying to upsell them, a 6 to 24 month purchase date is going to drive very different content to their audience. Someone who bought 30 days ago versus 90 days ago versus a year ago is going to have a very different Peloton journey that they should be interacting with the brand. Versus if I'm fast fashion, t-shirts, constantly, putting out new products, that purchase date may vary as well. Wilson's Leather, a leather coat company, you're typically only going to buy a winter jacket maybe once a year. So for them, when I worked with them, we would look at the last purchase date at 14 to 18 months. So it was a little bit more than a year, not quite 2 years, because someone should come back and buy again. And so you have that flexibility there. Last click date and last open date are extremely important because your 2 biggest ISPs, Gmail and Hotmail, are going to look at engagement metrics of your email sends. So if you're sending email and no one's opening them and no one's clicking them, it doesn't matter what you do, they're going to start slowly putting your emails in the spam box. Now, Gmail does have individual algorithms. We know this. So if I open an email every single time, the overall brand may end up with a 1% open rate, but I will always get it to my inbox, whether that's promotional or primary. Last open date also will probably depend on how frequently you're sending. If you're sending every day, 3 months, that means you've picked up the phone and called someone 90 times and they haven't answered. Stop calling them. They're not interested. So be very mindful of that. And then email opt-in date. So this is just, people sign up, maybe they went through the welcome series and they were just looking for that discount. If people don't engage in that first 90 days, after 60 days of being on your list and they still haven't opened a message, drop them. It's not worth your email health and list hygiene to keep sending to them. It's not efficient. It's not effective. So move on. And then this is just a typical kind of sample campaign calendar that if you struggle putting together enough content and saying, well, I don't know what to send to these people. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to create. This is something that I like to kind of just say, hey, you can use the same calendar every single month. And one of the things that I didn't put on here, but I used to laugh with, I worked with a fine China brand. And I used to laugh with them all the time about make up International Punch Bowl Day. If you have a surplus of stock of punch bowls, just make up International Punch Bowl Day and do a campaign on all your most popular punch bowls. And we can just create a day. And it's yeah, you can create a day. No one's going to go look up and be like, hey, brand X, International Punch Bowl Day doesn't actually exist. You guys are just making this up. People are going to enjoy that. It's a way to engage with the brand. So you can do that kind of stuff too, to be a little bit more creative if you don't want to do any discounts, which obviously you can get away with. So sample calendar, big sale of the month, and then you can see the audience, right? Send it to everybody. So that's your 1 email a month. All of the segments in Omnisend are going to be dynamic. So people are going to be moving in and out of these segments, whether or not they engage with your emails, whether or not they make a purchase. So if I'm in the everyone segment and I get the big sale of the month and I haven't engaged in 6 days, but I open and click that email, now maybe I'm dropped into the medium or most engaged email list. And so now I'm going to get the rest of the emails for the rest of this month, and then I'll drop off if I don't engage with them anymore. So on the 8th, maybe that's your new product release email. 3rd email of the month, a week later is the owner's favorite. This is super popular, and it can be anything you want it to be. So it can actually be your owner picking out their favorite products of the month and writing a little narrative about it. And this is why they're their favorite. And this is, how they prepare for a holiday or how they prepare for the fall season or cooler weather, whatever you want to do. Or you can give it that sense of these are the owner's favorites. And really it's just your foremost, high inventory products that you need to get rid of. So you can draft and create this however you want, but people are going to buy into that because people love stories. Week 4, last chance email. Here's our low inventory items. Send it to your medium engaged audience. People like the sense of urgency. It's a great emotion to play with. People have FOMO, so they don't want to miss out. So they're going to go ahead and engage and purchase that email. And then fifth one, most engaged blog lifestyle content, right? Most e-commerce brands are going to have a fact page. They have a story. How did they create the brand? What inspired them to create the brand? And a lot of our individual entrepreneurs or smaller brands that are working with Omnisend and have grown in these massive e-commerce companies, they did it because it was a passion and they want to be able to share that passion. So I guarantee you that people are going to engage with this email, and it's going to be an easy way to do a soft sale, soft touch, soft sale. It's about engagement, not revenue, but it's going to continue to create that experience. And then metrics. So in a rolling 30 days, you should at least maintain a 10% open rate. So if at any point these dynamic segments are not getting you a 10% open rate over 30 days or higher, really you should be shooting for 25, 35% open rate, as long as it aligns with revenue. I always tell people open rate is goal number 1, but it has to reflect revenue. So I tell people, I'm like, listen, when I create your first engaged audience, a lot of times it's cutting these people's contact lists in half, and they get a little panicky. And I go, listen, do one test, send it to the 50% of your list that you normally send to. If we don't see a higher open rate and equal or more revenue in this email send, then we'll tweak it, we'll adjust it, we'll change it. But time and time again, I've seen this over the last 8 years I've done this. We cut down the audience, it goes to more engaged people, it hits more people's inboxes, and revenue goes up. Or the people who weren't opening emails or just seeing subject lines go, where's this brand? Why are they not sending me emails anymore? And you have this trickle effect. So your list starts growing faster, starts growing healthier, your open rate goes up, you're making more money because the people on your email list getting your emails are the ones that are actually interested in buying, and you're not just carrying this dead weight and baggage around with you. So be efficient, be smart about it, keep that 10% open rate or higher, but ultimately, let's make sure we're making money. All right, question 3. How can I stand out from the competition? People, I keep repeating this, but it's true. People love a story. They want something unique. If you think about the most memorable brand experiences that you've ever had, they're the ones where you had a good unpacking experience. You had a good customer service experience. The product that you purchased is just, bar none, the best you've ever had. So you have to think about all of those things through the customer journey. So some things that I love to kind of push when we're talking about how do we stand out as a brand as we go into holiday, MMS is going to be a huge thing this year. SMS has already grown exponentially. We've seen the statistics with it. I'll show you those on the next slide. MMS is sort of that next level, right? People love interaction. So these are just some quick examples that you can see that you can do in Omnisend, but the idea being that MMS is going to set you apart. For a long time it was apps. Shopify even came out with, hey, we're going to build this app builder so that everyone can download an app. If you look at your own phone today, if you think about your true shopping apps, I think I have 2 shopping apps on my phone. One is Whole Foods, because I like my 5% discount from Amazon, being a Prime member. And the other shopping app I have is Amazon, because it's Amazon and they've got it all figured out. So those 2 things are going to be the only shopping stores on my phone. But my phone is always right next to me. So if I get a text, it's still of a unique sort of positioning that says, oh, someone texted me. It's 98% of all texts are read within the first 2 minutes. We've seen revenue go up. We've seen clicks go up. So SMS, MMS is going to be a crucial thing to kind of get yourself to stand out from your competition. The other thing you should know is as you're acquiring SMS contacts or MMS contacts, This does not mean that every contact you have in your Shopify e-commerce platform or whatever e-commerce platform you're on, this does not mean that if they have a mobile number attached to that because you require it at checkout, that does not mean they're opted into SMS. I worked with a furniture brand. Their in-person store representatives collected mobile numbers. There was something buried in the terms and conditions saying, hey, we can market to you via SMS. It wasn't good enough. They settled a $6 million lawsuit. So there are some real dollars out there. There are some real people that will kind of go for it. But we saw in the Nearly Natural example, it's very easy to collect SMS opt-in. You can also update your checkout with Shopify so that you can legally collect that SMS opt-in. SMS is a very specific targeted channel. People love their phones, they're emotionally connected to their phones, and the only brands that they want to communicate with them via SMS are the ones they're already most engaged with. So be very mindful of that. It's not email that you can kind of get away with, the batch and blast or pray and spray, whatever analogy you want to use there. This is a targeted VIP experience. We have a new product drop, you have the exclusive, you're the first ones to know about it. Or on the flip side, the post-purchase kind of positioning, right? So your order has shipped, thanks for your order, here's a quick follow-up, and it's that one-to-one kind of touches. So very personalized, very exclusive. That should be your SMS and MMS strategy. Also works really, really well in abandoned cart messaging. When you mix channels, we see a 63% increase in revenue from those automations that use more than one channel. So a quick SMS saying, hey, maybe you got distracted, we saved your cart for you. And then 30 minutes later, an email that says, hey, if you didn't see our text, here's all the stuff that you left in your cart. So some really good opportunities here with this channel. And so you can see over last Black Friday, SMS saw a 7 times higher campaign conversion than email, and it's improving year over year. So you can continue to see these trends that we've put together. This isn't available in our data set. This is looking at, many, many thousands of senders of SMS. And so we're going to continue to see this trend go in that direction. People want to get away from their computers, so mobile first is going to be a big thing this year. The other channel that's one that's a little bit surprising because I tend to find them annoying, but they work really well. And I have a client, that men's grooming wear brand that just absolutely kills it with push notifications. And these are web-based push notifications, like the little banners that come down in your browser. And I find them obnoxious. I would never subscribe to them, but they absolutely just crush it with revenue and impressions. And again, you can use push notifications, one, because you've got people who are engaged with your brand that are going to sign up for this. And two, it sets your brand apart, right? So you open the browser, you get this push notification. Oh yeah, I did mean to complete that order. Oh, you have new designs. Let me go check this out. It's another channel that you can integrate with email, with SMS, and then do this web push. You're now hitting them in 3 different places. So they have no excuse to kind of forget that they started the purchase, and this is going to convert, and it converts stupidly well. And I asked my client, I said, so what's your strategy? How do you know when to do a push? He goes, I don't know. I kind of just like forget about it. And then I look at my results and I see, oh yeah, that made a lot of money. I should probably do another one. And it's nice that it's super easy to set up. There's not a lot of thought behind it, and it works really well. So low effort, high revenue, it's a win. So do it. I wish I had a better opinion or a better advice on the strategy behind it, but it works. So definitely check out push notification if you're not using that now. And then text only. So another opportunity to set yourself apart. So if you were in the Omnisend marketing networking channel that we had before the session, I had put in one of the threads that I recently moved to Charleston, South Carolina. And I had been a Dollar Shave Club member for years. Harry sent me a direct mail piece, which is another way you can set yourself apart. Direct mail still works really, really well. So they sent me a postcard. Hey, welcome to the neighborhood. Here's something new. Got the $13 free trial. And a couple days later, after my post-purchase, text-only emails. Another brand that does this really well is Tommy John through their prospecting flow. They do set it. I don't even know if Katie's a real person. I could reply to Katie. It looked like a personal email address, but I would not be surprised at all if this is something, just a persona they made up, but they gave me that personal touch. They did a really good job with this in that they didn't include my personal name. They didn't, do any of the dynamic content kind of stuff. It's just very straightforward. Hi there, my name is Katie. I'm a member of Harry's team. And this text-only email is going to convert extremely well, have high opens because it's setting the brand apart. It's something unique, it's something different, and people are looking for that unique story. The other thing that I thought was super interesting that Harry's did that I loved, and when we talk about holiday sending and what we can do and how we can be a little bit creative with this, is how do we bundle, how do we do discounts, how do we do incentives? So we have brands that we work with that are going to be direct to consumer. And then we have brands that are direct to consumer, but makes up 20% of their business and 80% of their business is wholesale. And if you're in that space, you know the story that like, hey, you have to be super careful about how much discounting you can do, what kind of offers you can do. The sales price on your website can never be lower than what's in the store. And that's going to be all baked into your agreement. So what I thought was really interesting with Harry's, and they totally suckered me out of $5, is this mystery item. So I have a 9-year-old daughter. She loves LOL dolls. If you don't know what they are, they're these little rubber dolls. They come in a mystery package. You have to unzip them. And so part of the joy of getting this toy is that you don't know what you're going to get. And so it's a mystery. And so I saw this mystery item on Harry's and I was like, you know what, for $5, I'm getting the trial set for free. I'm going to go ahead and spend this money anyway. So Harry's totally suckered me into it with direct mail piece. They got $14 out of me when I could have just gotten the free trial. I've converted to their subscription model. I've canceled my Dollar Shave Club just to give it a try. So they're doing well. So kudos to their marketing team if anyone's listening. But the mystery item, and I got it, and it literally came in a foil pack. So I open it, I pull it out of the box. It was one of the first things, like, what is this mystery item going to be? Got it. I'm like, showed my wife, like, look, I got a mystery item. She's like, well, what is it? I'm like, I don't know. She's like, well, that's kind of cool. Opened it up and it was worth the $5. And I've already told my wife, I'm going to do it again because I want to know. I don't know if the item I got was actually worth $5, but it was an interesting way to kind of think about how we can be creative with holiday without just discounting, without just doing the 70% flash sale that's going to encourage people to buy more. So you could very easily go, hey, if you spend $50 or more at our site, you get free shipping and one mystery item. That's an easy way to kind of encourage people to buy more, not provide a massive discount, and clear inventory, right? So you've got some opportunities there. I just thought it was a very kind of unique way of setting yourself apart. And if you can do it, I would absolutely recommend it because they suckered me into it. And I tend to be pretty cheap. And then subject lines and emojis, right? So this is something that's going to set yourself apart. This is from one of our blog posts. I should have pulled in the pre-header text as I was reviewing my slides. It's like, this is an emergency. Probably this sale's so hot, it's on fire. Write some playful words there. But what I love about this is the top 10 subject lines over Cyber Weekend last year that we saw, the top 3, and then more in the top 10 had no incentives called out, right? This is an emergency, catch of the day, price freeze. So there's an inclination that there's going to be a discount or something spectacular in the email, but the open rates that got the most was there let a little bit of mystery there, right? People wanted to know, what is this emergency? What is the catch of the day? Let me actually get into the email and see what's happening before I just go, because if I get an email and you know, the 3D moon lamp, right? Obviously very product specific. And so maybe, let's say I'm really into moon lamps and I see 50% off, but the email I got from them 2 weeks ago was also 50% off. And the email I got 2 months ago was also 50% off. Maybe I'm not engaging with that right away. It's going to take a little bit more for me to kind of get into. So I thought that was a very, very important to call out here is, yes, discount is important. If you're doing a discount, absolutely call it out. People are lazy. They want to be told what to do up front, but also don't worry about just doing discounting. All right, so we're about halfway through the presentation, and you know, sometimes you just need a random picture of dogs so you can take a mental break. So those are my 2 puppies. That's Hero on the right and Maybell on the left. So that's our moment of Zen during this presentation. All right, we'll get back to it. All right, so question 4, when should I start planning for holiday sending? Yesterday, and your competitors have already started. So Nearly Natural, the same people that had the exit intent pop up, obviously they're in a unique space in that they do artificial plants and trees, and they've done some really good subtle things. They did another campaign about, you know, setting yourself up for making sure you have the right centerpiece for your holiday table. That did really, really well for them. They're already pushing 20% off artificial Christmas trees. If you go to Lowe's or Home Depot, Their whole Christmas sections are up. So people are already starting to think about holiday. Google did a survey and they found that 25% of people are going to do some of their holiday shopping in October. That's now. Today is October. People are already doing their holiday shopping. So you have to be mindful of that. You should start thinking about your holiday planning. If you're not already sending out holiday emails, you should start thinking about that. We talked a little bit in the networking channel. Call to actions, extremely important. And focus on as you go through the season. So maybe October is the pre-planners, getting yourself ready for a holiday, making sure your house is ready. So whatever vertical you're in, right? If you're in clothing, make sure that your entire family is dressed for family photos or the Christmas card. If you're in home decor, do you need that new picture frame? Is your guest room all set up for visitors who may be coming to visit? Maybe this is the first time you're seeing your family in 2020 because we're finally to a point now where people are like, okay, I want to travel. I'm willing to travel. Let me go see my family. It's the holidays. It's important. We have to do it. If you're in fitness, time to get fit for the new year. Make sure you're ready to go to, impress Aunt Sally with how many pull-ups you can do. Whatever it is, any vertical, you can create a story that says, it's about me getting ready. It's about getting my house ready. It's about getting my family ready. It's about getting gifts for others and then making sure that you treat yourself with some sort of gift. Take care of yourself. That's going to be an extremely important theme this year. And then the other thing that you need to think about are shipping delays and warehouse employees. So these are two things that have come up in multiple conversations across the country. I'm working with a coffee company in Atlanta. They're seeing 9 days shipping across the city of Atlanta using FedEx. I have a pen and pencil company that's seeing 9 days shipping delays across Cleveland using United States Postal Service. And then, warehouse employees. COVID has done a number on our economy. It's an interesting situation that's happening, but that unemployment is going to extend through both UPS. I was a holiday runner when I was in college. I don't know if UPS still has the number of employees that they need. Can they even put two people in a truck together because of COVID regulations? I don't know. And then warehouse employees, how close are people willing to get to each other? Are people looking for temporary work, or is the unemployment benefits enough that they don't want to go back to work? So these are all things that you kind of have to think about. So if you haven't started ramping your warehouse employee hiring, if you haven't started doing your Christmas sending, and we're already seeing delays, what is it going to look like when people actually start shipping product? And then one other point that I kind of wanted to make too is if you think about when you should start marketing this, if the economy opens back up and people are willing to go out and shop, people sit in front of their computer all day. So they're going to want to get out and go shop in person at brick and mortar locations if they can. And so if you wait too long to do your big holiday sales and sending, they may already be out and buying in person and you've missed that e-commerce conversion. So be very mindful of that as well. And then Gray November. So this is a thing that keeps coming up. It's more popular. We've seen Cyber Weekend. We saw Black Friday, Cyber Monday turn into Cyber Weekend. Then we saw Cyber Week. We're looking at Gray November, and I should have called it like Mauve October. I don't know what a shade is lighter than gray, but we're getting to a point where we're extending this holiday sending season more and more and more and more. And we need to make sure that we're capturing as many sales as possible. When COVID first started, we had brands that kind of took a step back and go, is this really appropriate for us to be sending? What are people feeling? And the people that kept sending, the biggest brands, one of my favorite websites for email design and just sort of like email temperature, if you will, in the space is a website called mild.com. It's a great site that shows every major brand. And if you go back to when COVID was first in the United States, every single brand, and even the ones that tend to be more socially focused, Tom's was one I know I looked up. They kept their normal sending cadence. They did their spring sale. They had, I think, one or two mentions of COVID, but was very kind of surface level. Another brand that's great out of San Francisco, American Giant, they've done a good job of sort of going, hey, this is how our employees dress at home while they're working at home, and promoting some of the products. So they kind of use that brand voice to kind of say, hey, we're all in this together, but you can also still buy product and we're still here selling. So buy stuff from us. So it's okay to send email. It's okay to promote your holiday sales. And we're going to be continuing to extend it. So don't wait. Start really thinking about it now. All right. Number 5, what automation should I have in place for holiday? MeUndies spoke earlier in the week. If you don't have a welcome email, at least one, You should definitely get this going ASAP. Should have been done yesterday, but really, really good creative in this email. So you can see they've got the discount code. Again, I don't think that's necessary. If you have a good enough story, which they do, they have the soft, they have the values, it's a good product, people are going to buy it. Maybe this is where they've seen their hurdle. I'm sure they've done all sorts of testing, but great job here capturing, are you a man or a woman? Which one are you shopping? Value proposition, they're so soft, they have the best products, and then their values. That's the story, right? And the thank you. It's gentle. And what I love about this email as well, there's no product being shoved in your face that buy, 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 buy. Clear call to actions. First thing you see, shop men, shop women, easy to get there. But no, here's our best products, here's what you need to buy. It's a soft sale with easy call to actions. So great job from MeUndies in that welcome email. Abandoned cart emails. Be very mindful of this. Abandoned cart is great. Here's some recommended timing on it. I usually do 1 hour, 24 hours, 2 days. This is where you can incorporate SMS and push notifications into it well. Also, just know that if you're using the default Shopify checkout abandonment, it's only checkout abandonment. So Omnisend lets you go a little bit step further. As soon as we identify the customer on your website and they add something to their cart and they leave, we can send them an email saying, hey, you left these items in your cart, we saved it for you. You can also play with emotions in this. First email usually is like a courtesy, hey, we saved this for you. Second email is an urgency. Make sure you get this before the product goes out of stock or your cart expires. And then the third email is maybe a last chance, or maybe that's when you offer the discount. Also, play with your discounts that you have on your site. If you have free shipping thresholds, which you should have, everyone should be doing free shipping. If you have a free shipping threshold, just promote that in your cart. So just say, hey, you qualify for free shipping, you don't qualify for free shipping. Or make sure you get $50 more in your cart so you can take advantage of free shipping. Discounting does not have to be done all the time. People will learn it. And then if you are doing a big sale, you have to start figuring out the complexities of, if I'm doing a 50% flash sale and I'm giving 10% off of my abandoned cart, am I able to stack those, or is it one or the other? And then at that point, why do you even put the 10% discount in your abandoned cart email? And then here's some examples of these, right? Again, what I love about both of these, no discounts, French Connection, just calling out the sale that they're already having on your site. And then the Low Fleur Randall on the left, super simple, right? No dynamic product recommendations, no hyper personalization, which I know sometimes we get bogged down with. We have to make it perfect. These are two very successful emails with very simple, basic designs, clear and easy call to action, and an opportunity to go out there. So if I get this from Loafer Randall and that's not the shoe I wanted, I've got 3 easy clicks to find what else I might want. On the other side, the French Connection saying, hey, you left this in your basket, and don't forget, you get 50% off of this. So make sure you complete your checkout. So love those. Again, no discounts, which I think is fantastic. And then the third automation that I always recommend is the post-purchase thank you. So the idea being here, REI does a fantastic job with this. So this is, I think, 2 weeks after you make a purchase, it's, hey, you got your goods. Here's all of our free classes. No product, no buy again, no 20% if you come back and purchase from us again right now. It's just a, hey, we want to make you better. We want to let you, take advantage of the product that you purchase. So come back here, sign up for our classes, learn how to do more. And let me tell you what, if I go and I take a class about, outdoor camping and backpack tents, and I'm sitting at my backpack tent and they're like, we really recommend this camping stove, or we really recommend this water purifier. Those are opportunities that they can now do that soft sell and keep me purchasing. And then just a list of other automations, order delays, candidness, right? And this time with shipping delays and stuff, I have one client who's doing a 4 and 8 day order delay. So if the order is complete but not fulfilled, they send an email 4 days after the fact. Outside of abandoned cart, it is their #1 performing email revenue stream. It's just crazy. And it's literally just say, hey, sorry, the product's been a little bit delayed. Click here if you want to buy anything else, but just know we're working as quickly as possible to complete your order. It's like a 70% open rate and just ridiculous for not a lot of work. Personal thank yous and obviously an opportunity for that text-based email, a note from the CEO, care tips, which we saw with REI, but that post-purchase thank you, birthday, anniversary, lapsed, and refill reminders. So just kind of a list of some examples there that you could set up. So you can set them up to set it and forget it. All right. Last kind of section here is tell a story. Just be unique and tell a story. That's what people love to hear. People want to know why they should buy from you. And you can tell that story through your communication channels as you go through this. We always see contact attrition after the New Year's because people sign up, they want the holiday sales, and then they come to New Year and go, new year, new me, I'm cleaning out my inbox. But if you create a memorable story through your email, through your SMS, through your social channels, all the way through your fulfillment journey, people are going to love your brand and they're going to stick with it. And that's what's going to get them to come back and buy again. So just be unique, and Omnisend is going to be able to do that for you. So we've got email, we've got SMS and MMS now, web push, automations, and mobile friendly. Make sure you're designing for mobile first. And with that, that is the 6 most common questions that I have heard. So I want to pause here, and I don't know if we want to do a live question and answer here now, or if we want to take it to the channel. I'll leave it to the powers that be at Hawke Media to dictate where I need to go. All right, well, if they're gonna let me talk, I'll just keep going. So I see some questions in the chat. So we got, what other mystery items, tactics have you used? You know, I think the missing packages, you could probably even do tiered mystery items. One brand my client and I talked about the other day was Diamond Candle. And if you don't know them, they're a great story, and they basically sell like $40, $50 candles with the chance that there may be a large diamond at the bottom of it when you burn it down. So people love games, right? They want that chance. So you've got that flexibility there. What mysterious subject lines work best? There, it's really about brand voice. So, you know, the men's grooming wear brand, like, they have a lot of fun. They have a defined personality. I always kind of coach my clients. I'm like, you know what? Picture your brand as a high schooler. Are they the theater kids? Are they in the band? Are they a jock? Are they the party girl? Like, who are they? And then make sure that all of your copy and all of your subject lines articulate that persona. I think that's kind of the easiest way to do it, because we all know those clear stereotypical personas in high school. And so it's a great opportunity to kind of have some fun with it. Now, you also need to read your brand. I worked with a lighting brand, very sort of, we'll call it uppity for lack of a better term, very high-end clients, not really jokesters. For April Fool's one year, they did, congrats, your order has shipped. That did not go over well with their clientele at all. Like, it just did not fit the brand voice at all. And you kind of have to be mindful of that when using emojis as well. Do the emojis fit the subject line, and do they fit what we are trying to be as a brand? So be very mindful of that. If you're Vogue, if you're, you know, a super sort of, you know, French couture brand, emojis may not exactly fit who your clientele are and who you're talking to. What are your thoughts on non-monitored email inboxes for marketing send from addresses? You know, I think that's fine. It's totally fine. You know, call it out, be clear, and say, hey, there's no reply, or, you know, they're going to get an email bounce back anyway. But just make sure that you call out, who can they contact? How do they get a hold of you? If you have a link to your FAQ and your like FAQ page on your email, and you go to the FAQ page and there's one question and one answer and no way to get a hold of you, that's a bad experience. So think about those little things, those little touches. That's what's going to be, again, creating that memorable story experience. How long can you extend holiday discounts or offers via email after the season's over? Just be mindful of it. I mean, if you can handle the margins and you're still getting sales generating from it, then extend it. Now, I work with the swimsuit brand. They've had a 24-hour flash sale on their website for the last 6 months. People are hip to this scheme. Like, it's not driving any more revenue, and they need to disable it. So at that point, that's too long. But, you know, I constantly encourage people to switch the holiday discounts. The other thing that you need to be mindful of is, if you're going to do a big holiday discount, take those out of your welcome series. Or if you go on Cyber Week and you're going to email twice a week, every day, or twice a day, every day for that entire week, because you have the ability to do that, your audience is engaged enough, it's okay. You have two choices. One, either disable your welcome series so that people aren't getting multiple emails in a day, or suppress them from the marketing sends until they get through that welcome automation. So just be mindful of that sort of storytelling that you're doing through email. Which hit the other question, do you shift your autoresponder language to include holiday language during the season? If you have the bandwidth to do it, I think absolutely go for it. Do I think that's priority number one? No. I think you kind of move away from that, and make sure that you have the automation set up. Make sure, I always tell people to go and ask their friend to shop their site. Give them the ability to place a test order and get somebody kind of outside the normal kind of routine of going through and see if they can find the bugs and do the QA. And what channel do your clients find to be most successful? And do you think there's a standard playbook for all merchants? Email is always going to be your number one ROI driver. If you're not seeing 40-to-1 ROI on email at a very minimum, there is massive opportunity to increase that, which always cracks me up because email is usually one of the least expensive channels. And yet, if you talk to someone advertising on Facebook, you know, if they're getting a 1.2 return on ad spend, all of a sudden they're a Facebook advertising influencer. They're creating videos, they're creating courses, all this stuff, which just cracks me up. But I know it's important. So it's important to get those acquisitions. Just from a pure ROI perspective, it always makes me scratch my head a little bit. I'm like, you're complaining about what you're spending on email for a 40-to-1 ROI, but you're dropping how much on Facebook ads? Like, it's mind-blowing to me. But that being said, email is going to be super successful. SMS and MMS, more expensive than email. ROI is almost there. It's probably like a 20 to 30-to-1 ROI if you're really good at it. Most likely in that 10 to 15-to-1 ROI, but going to do extremely well for you. And so it's maybe not necessarily what channel is the most successful. Email will drive the most revenue. So if that's your measurement, email is your most successful. If you really have to look at the whole picture and go, okay, how do I get someone from Facebook to my email list to following up with them so that they make that purchase? And then once they make that purchase, you start incorporating things like loyalty programs, getting them to come back by again, and those gentle touches. So I can't really say that there's one channel that's better than others. It's just about creating that full, complete picture. And then one last question is, how do you do a mystery sale with a photography company? Great question. How do you do a mystery sale? Maybe it's a, we just had pictures taken. We did the stereotypical beach pictures in the waves with our kids and stuff. That's what you got to do when you move to Charleston. And, the lady who took our pictures had a Shopify site. She had packages that you could purchase and everything. And you know what? If it was a buy these 8 pictures and then get 2 more pictures edited for free, but she gets to pick, maybe there was something in the eye of like in her perspective as a photographer that my wife and I wouldn't have seen. And so it's an opportunity to say, wow, here's a professionally edited photo printed for us that we would have never picked, but holy cow, it's beautiful. What a great story to tell. Is that, what's funny about this picture is it's not one that we picked. It's not one that we thought we'd like, and yet it's amazing. And maybe not necessarily say, buy these mystery pictures for a dollar amount, but maybe more of a bundle. So if you buy 8 pictures, we're going to give you 2 mystery ones for free. You will get a copy of the presentation. This will come, I think, next week after all the sessions are done, along with the recording. And I think I can go ahead and probably place a copy of the presentation in the Slack channel that we have as well. And then, in your opinion, how many emails are too many? If your contacts are opening and engaging with them, then you can send them. Again, I've worked with daily deal sites that send 3 emails a day and they get 20% open rates every day, all day. And then I've worked with fashion brands that send every day and they're happy with their 3% open rates. Drives me nuts. So again, in my opinion, how much email is too many email? As long as you're keeping open rates above 10% at a bare minimum, keep sending. And what's the best campaign that I've ever conducted? And about the worst. Okay, these are good questions. See, people love stories. They want to know what's the best, what's the worst. Oh gosh. The worst I would probably say is the April Fool's one that I worked with that lighting company on, and I told them, I'm going to say frankly and honestly, I did not. I said, don't do this. This is a bad idea. But yeah, April Fool's, your order has shipped, like unsubscribes exploded, all kinds of issues on social media and stuff, and just was not good. Now the good news about that is sometimes when you do a oops email, like if you send out an email with an incorrect link or an incorrect image, oops emails actually perform really, really well. If you've ever had to send an oops email, I'm sure you've seen the spike in bumps and opens and clicks and conversions. So that's, one of the things that's, don't do oops emails too many times, but I've definitely had clients schedule oops emails, right? Like planned them out saying like, hey, we're going to send an email with oops in the subject line. I've also had clients do fake loyalty programs where it's just too much money. They don't want to sign up a loyalty. And so once a quarter, they literally send out an email that goes, hey, don't forget, you have 200 points expiring, which is good enough for 20% off your order. And it literally goes to everybody. And people are like, oh, 200 points, I don't want it to expire. I got to buy something. Again, not the best integrity, but you can finagle some things if you need to. And the best campaign, I mean, I loved working with American Giant. At the same time, I was also working with a company called Little Passports, which was a subscription box. And I don't necessarily think there was maybe one campaign that I saw that they did that I was like, oh, this is so great. It was just the whole mindset of how both those brands really worked well, really listened to their customers, and I got to watch them grow. I mean, I saw Little Passports go from 3 million emails a year all the way up to, when I stopped working with them because I switched jobs, they were sending close to 400 million emails a year in I think a 2.5-year time span. Same thing with American Giant. That brand went a little bit viral. People signed up for it. And, when you log into an account and you see that they've added, 1,500 contacts in a day, and like their list is just growing so fast and the revenue is growing and everyone's loving their product and they're super kind of conscious of what their brand voice is. It's just a lot of fun to work with that brand. And then Tommy John would be my third, sort of just, if you're looking for brands to follow in terms of how they do things right, those three brands are good ones that I kind of always recommend. Tommy John does a good job of identifying, hey, are you interested in men's product, women's products? And then if you don't purchase, they do a great job of saying, hey, you're a prospect, you haven't purchased yet, so let's nurture you down this path. And then once you purchase, you go into a completely different funnel, and they do a really, really good job with that. Okay, what should be the ration between sales, culture, and information be in an email? I'm going to say milled.com again. That's MILLED.com. People want to be told what to do. So even if you have the most beautiful hero image on your email and it's like the best lifestyle image and you feel fantastic about it, if you don't have wording on there or a button that says click here to shop, come check out our products, you may get opens with a great subject line and you're going to get no clicks and no conversions no matter how hard you try. And we've all seen this in email marketing and SMS marketing, that subject lines you angst over and you're like, this is the best subject line and oh my gosh, is this going to work? And you think about it at night, keeps you up at night. You're like, yes, this is it. It's going to have record open rates. You send out the email and you get nothing, or there's no change. And then the one you're like, crap, my boss told me I have to send an email in 15 minutes and you throw something together. All of a sudden the open rate is 4x what it normally is. You have record revenue and you just sit there, with your hands in your head going, what am I doing? Right? But that's the beauty of this, is it's testing, it's understanding that there is no perfect science to it. You just have to know your database, know what works with them, and continue to test. Testing different subject lines, creatives before you change them out with the new split test. Tests all the time, unless you find something that really works. I worked with a company that, excuse me, had an older demographic, and they recreated their email template to look exactly like their catalog because that's what their buyers wanted. And so we talked to them. It was 3-column. It was terrible on mobile. We're like, hey, no, we got to stack all this stuff. We sent one of those emails out where like everything was stacked. It looked beautiful on mobile. And it's like, borderline millennial. I was like, this is a great email. Their customers hated it so bad. So when you think about testing content, subject lines, all of that kind of stuff, it's extremely important to constantly run tests, but then always kind of go back to what works best for your brand. Because if I'm constantly testing, The only thing I'm going to learn is that constantly testing variables is going to, not really show me any true story. So it's important to kind of see how that all works. All right. These are great questions. So I'm just going to keep rolling along. As long as Hawke Media lets me talk, I'll keep going. Subject line, somewhat success, but not exactly what you need out of them. What are your thoughts on midnight sends test for bot or delivery or corporate scanner platforms? Interesting concept. I know like send time optimization is one that comes up a lot in terms of testing, right? And it's not something that we have at Omnisend, full transparency. And it's one of those things where it's like, if you look at all email sends ever, it's like Tuesdays at 9 o'clock always have the best open rate. And what I tell my clients is, if you always send your emails at 9 a.m. every morning or every other morning, your database is conditioned to do that, right? If you have dogs, they know exactly when dinner time is, and you don't have to look at the clock. You just know that they start whimpering and you're like, my dog is hungry. People feel the same way about email. And so if you start kind of going around like the send time optimization thing and trying to identify what hour of the day is the best to deliver that email to, there's just so many variables. Even like A/B content testing, like people want consistency. And so you start adding up in a, was my split even? Did my split, did split A get, 200 of my best buyers and split B got, 500 of my worst buyers? And so that's the difference in revenue. So until I'm almost kind of a firm believer, if you're really going to A/B test, you need to manually go through your database and say, okay, this is sample group A, this is sample group B. This I know is like they have the same open rates, the same click rates, same conversion rates, and you really try to reduce the amount of variables that could impact everything you could be testing. And inconsistent research that shows best days and time to mail. No, there's not. You just test. Again, there's things that you're going to send out last minute. I have one client, I'm like, please send in the morning. They send 4 o'clock every day, and they've tried sending in the morning and it fails. There's like usually about a 30% drop in open rates. And so I'm like, you know what? Just keep doing what you're doing because it's working and it's driving revenue. All right. That was it. That was the last question. I got through all of them. Scott, I think you're there.
Dude,
Thanks.
that was great.
I love this stuff. I get super passionate about it.
You know what? So. I'm going to say your name the right way. Gabe.
Okay.
Macaluso.
You got it.
Right?
Completely phonetic.
Did I get it?
Yeah.
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
See, even though I studied, I blew it up really. So thanks for doing this. It's a long time, man. You spit a lot of knowledge. People are super appreciative. We are super appreciative of Omnisend being a great new partner of ours. And we look forward to working with you guys down the road, and really exciting about all the new platform additions that you're going to have over the next couple of months. I heard a lot of rumors about some really cool stuff you guys are doing. So super excited. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Appreciate it. I'll be in the Slack channel if anyone has additional questions.